What's going on YouTube? My name is Ace Ortiz and this is my channel, MTG Budget Brew. The point of my channel is to create budget-friendly decks that people will be happy to craft and then play with on Arena. Because as much as we all love playing Magic, I'm sure we can all agree that we don't always love the price tag that comes with the deck, you know, physical or virtual. So for my Budget Brew series, I'll be limiting myself to 4 rare and or mythic cards per deck. The rest of the deck will be commons and uncommons. And the format that we'll be playing will be best of 1 historic. That way we don't need to worry about crafting extra cards for sideboard, and we don't have to worry about our cards rotating out of standard. Alright, with all that said, the card that I decided to build around for today's video is Knight of the Ebon Legion. So let's go take a look at that deck list now. Okay, so first we have 4 copies of Knight of the Ebon Legion. 1 black mana for a 1/2 Vampire Knight with an activated ability that says pay 2 and a black. Knight of the Ebon Legion gets +3/+3 and gains Death Touch until end of turn. It also says at the beginning of your end step, if a player lost 4 or more life this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Knight of the Ebon Legion. So when I read that card, I really focused on that 4 or more life this turn part of the text. Knight of the Ebon Legion can usually connect for that 4 damage itself on turn 3 if you activate its ability and swing with it, right? The only issue with that is that you don't get to develop your board any further, you know? You spent your whole turn activating Knight of the Ebon Legion. So I thought to myself, how can we improve upon that, right? And the answer I came up with was that we could play a big creature on turn 2 that we could then swing with on turn 3, and that will allow us to still get a counter on our Knight, and we'll still have 3 mana available to play other spells. So at this point, I've decided that we're going to be a mono black aggro deck, which leads me to the next cards in our list. So, the first big body that we hope to play on turn 2 is 4 copies of Wanted Scoundrels. 1 in a black for a 4/3 human pirate that says, when Wanted Scoundrels dies, target opponent creates 2 colorless treasure artifact tokens with tap, sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. I'm sure you probably haven't seen this card very often, and that's because it is very, very risky to play. Giving your opponent 2 treasure tokens is super dangerous in most cases, but for our deck specifically, I think it is worth the risk. Our second big body is 3 copies of Grim Wanderer. It is 1 in a black for a 5/3 Goblin Warlock with Flash that also has a tragic backstory on it that says, cast this spell only if a creature died this turn. Because he's trickier to actually play, we're only running 3 copies. And from all my games so far, he rarely comes out on turn 2. However, it is a phenomenal card for rebuilding your board after a board wipe. Nobody expects you to flash in a 5/3 body right after they just wiped, so it almost guarantees that he connects on the next turn. This next card was added to the deck because I wanted to add a pump spell for our creatures, and I came across a card that was perfect for us. As you can see, that card is Lash of Malice. 1 black mana for an instant that says, target creature gets +2/-2 until end of turn. This is a good pick so far because the 2 big bodies we just added both have toughness of 3, so they can survive getting buffed by Lash of Malice, and our Knight can handle it most of the time too. On top of that, this also functions as a cheap removal spell, so it's just good all around. With this in mind as our pump spell though, I figured our next creatures should also have at least 3 toughness and at least 2 power, that way, when they're buffed, they can still reach that threshold of 4 damage that we're looking for. And as soon as I searched up cards with that criteria, I found a card that was just an auto-include. It's a great card that you've probably seen before. And that card is 4 copies of Gifted Aetherborn. 2 black mana for a 2/3 Aetherborn Vampire with Death Touch and Lifelink. Like I said, this is just a great card. It fits the stats we want, and it even has 2 keywords on it. And actually, so does our next creature, but it's a little more versatile. If you're familiar with this card, then you'll know what I mean by it being versatile. Our next creature being 4 copies of Grimdancer. 1 and 2 black for a 3/3 nightmare that says, Grimdancer enters the battlefield with your choice of 2 different counters on it from among Menace, Death Touch, and Lifelink. Now, since we want to be the aggressors in our matches, you almost always want to pick Death Touch and Menace. Death Touch makes it so that our opponent doesn't want to block, and Menace makes it harder for them to block even if they want to. Okay, now to round out our creatures, I decided to add another 1-drop. And I think I picked the perfect one. Our final creature is 4 copies of this cute guy, Serrated Scorpion. 1 black mana for a 1/2 Scorpion that says, when Serrated Scorpion dies, it deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. The reason I love this pick is because of that extra 2 points of damage. They can be really helpful when trying to close out a game, and we can even kill it off ourselves by using Lash of Malice, so that's nice. And now that we're done with creatures, I decided to look at draw spells. And what better draw spell to run than 4 copies of Village Rites, since we just added some sacrifice fodder to our deck. Village Rites is 1 black mana for an instant that says, as an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a creature. Scorpion. Draw 2 cards. No, seriously though. Just like Grim Wanderer, this card is great if our opponent is looking to board wipe us or even has single target removal in their hands. Because if they're about to kill our creature anyway, you might as well sack it in response and get the draw. Next on our list is some removal in the form of 3 copies of Feed the Swarm. 1 and a black for a sorcery that says, destroy target creature or enchantment an opponent controls. You lose life equal to that permanent's mana value. I am absolutely in love with this card. Not even just for this deck, but like for all of Magic. Because black has like no enchantment removal whatsoever. Like, I mean, they really don't have anything in black. So, like, whoever made this card, I wish I could personally thank them. Because it's a great card. But focusing back on our deck, it's not only great for dealing with pesky enchantments, like shrines, but it can also trigger our Knight of the Ebon Legion. Because Knight just says that at your end step, if a player lost 4 or more life this turn, it gets a counter. So if you destroy something big enough, you can put a counter on our own Knight. So there's a little more synergy right there too. Next we have a single copy of Heartless Act. 1 and a black for an instant that says, destroy target creature with no counters on it, or remove up to 3 counters from target creature. It's just another cheap removal spell that I like, but it's a little inconsistent, so 1 copy is enough. I have actually gotten some good use by removing counters from a creature though, so that's good. And last but not least, we have the top end of our deck, 2 copies of Blood Curdle. 3 and a black for an instant that says, destroy target creature, put a menace counter on a creature you control. It is a little more costly than our other removal spells, and is even the highest CMC spell in our deck, but it is well worth it. Getting to put a menace counter on one of our creatures is huge. It really helps our big bodies connect for the damage we need. But with that said, the only thing left to cover is the mana base, which is 23 basic swamps. You know, trying to keep it nice and budget friendly. Well, now that you know all about the deck and my thought process behind building it, I want to quickly go over my current stats with the deck, and then we'll hop into some matches. Okay, so as you can see, I have a good amount of time spent playing with this deck already. I have 9 hours, 2 minutes, and 38 seconds spent playing this deck. We have a win rate of 62%, 61% on the play, 63% on the draw. So the deck is pretty consistent whether you go first or second. I have a total of 114 matches played, 71 of those are wins, 43 were losses. And this is the only version of the deck, actually. I got pretty lucky with my build. I haven't had to make any adjustments since I first started playing with the deck. So yeah, now that I've shown you this, let's hop into some matches and see if we can maintain this win rate. Okay, so here we are in a match. Our opening hand is not looking real good. I'm not gonna lie to you, this is kind of rough. A 2-land hand is actually pretty common with this deck, and you can do a lot with only 2 lands. But we don't have very many creatures. However, we do have our Scorpion and a Village Rites, so I am going to keep this hand. It might have been better to mulligan still, but we're going to hope that we can draw something good off a Serrated Scorpion. So turn 1, Serrated Scorpion, pass, and our opponent plays Kumano faces Kakazan, I don't know. Deals 1 damage to each opponent and each planeswalker they control. See, when you cast your next creature spell this turn, that creature enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. Now, our opponent is just trying to burn us out. We really, let's see what happens when this flips. Exile the Saga and return to the battlefield, transformed under your control. 2/2 haste. If a creature dealt damage this turn would, by a source you control, would die. Exile instead. So we really need to draw into some of our own big creatures. He would be able to destroy most of them. So right now I'm debating whether or not I want to feed the swarm this thing before he gets a 2/2 with haste out. That'll cost me 1 more point of damage. I think I go for it. I think I destroy his Saga. We take the 1 more point of damage, and then next turn we'll probably sacrifice our Scorpion to Village Rites. That'll give us 2 more life, which is good, and that'll leave us at least 2 mana up to play something else. So hopefully we draw into like a Gifted Aetherborn would be nice, honestly. Okay, our opponent played Get to Lava Runner. We got hit for 3 more. We got hit for another 3. We're down to 7, so it's pretty rough. We do pick up a Wanted Scoundrels though, which is pretty nice. So we're going to sacrifice Serrated Scorpion before we do anything else. Deal 2 to our opponent. Gain 2 life for us. Ooh, and this is good. I'm really tempted to just Lash of Malice, but I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna play Wanted Scoundrels here. Okay, this is perfect. I thought our opponent was already on the 3rd part of the Saga. They might not even have a creature to play. Of course, they have a creature to play. But it's Defender. You tap it, deal 1 damage to each opponent. When you cast an instant sorcery spell, untap it. Okay, so this is fine. Our creature is big enough to contest his Thermal Alchemist. So we're gonna start with the Lash of Malice. We're gonna kill the Get to Lava Runner. We are going to feed the Swarm, this other Kumano. And then we're going to swing with Wanted Scoundrels. And I think our opponent is... I mean, they're pretty out of gas already. We're at 8 life. I think we're okay here. If our opponent happens to draw into, you know, another damaging spell, and they decide to target our Wanted Scoundrels for some reason instead of trying to go face, we'll just sack it to Village Rites. And, you know, that'll be 2 more draws, so... We're okay. We're doing fine. Yeah, I think we're gonna out aggro. Well, maybe not out aggro. We're gonna outlast the mono red aggro deck. So that's nice. Play Screw the Critics. Oof. This is going to hurt. This is gonna set us down to 3. Next turn, they could kill us. They draw like 1 more Skewer the Critics, 1 more Wizard Lightning, like we just die. So let's hope we get something good. A Swamp is not it. That is not going to keep us alive. What can keep us alive? A removal spell to get rid of Thermal Alchemist helps a little bit. Gifted Aetherborn, Grimdancer would both be nice. Let's see, if we go to combat, he's not going to block. He's going to go down to 9. I'm going to pass. We'll see if he draws into more burn. Maybe we're lucky. Maybe it's just a mountain. Nah, I think we might be dead. Is it a shock? No. He's going to pass back. I don't know if I Village Rites here or not. Part of me really wants to. We'll go to our turn. Another Swamp. This is garbage. Okay, we're going to swing. We're going to Village Rites. I can't. I can't do it. We're going to end. I can't do it because if we draw another Lash of Malice, we could win. Our opponent got a Lightning Strike. Let's see what happens if I Village Rites here. Again, there's nothing that we can do to like save ourselves. But what would we have drawn? Gifted Aetherborn wouldn't have been enough. Damn. We were close. We were close. Here we are in a match, and our opening hand is looking really good. Keeping a 2-land hand is pretty common with this deck, and it works. You know, if you take a look at our hand right now, we can play everything that we have. So we're definitely fine keeping a 2-land hand with this deck. I mean, our curve stops at 4, and even then, only 2 of our creatures are... only 2 of our spells are 4 drops. So we play real simple. Turn 1, I have the Ebon Legion. Our opponent has life gain in their deck, which is a bit scary. Luckily, we do have a turn 2 Wanted Scoundrels, so we'll be able to start applying a lot of pressure. So we might be able to beat our opponents, before they gain too much life. This is bad. We need a removal spell for that. Lurking Roper is a massive blocker. From here, let's see. Do I just go for the Knight of the Ebon Legion? Will they trade their Lurking Roper for our Knight? Probably not. I'm going to see if they want to trade Knight for Roper. Because I'm perfectly fine taking that trade. They don't want to. Alright, they take 4. Next turn, if we draw a Swamp, we'll probably double Gifted Aetherborn. If not, we will probably Gifted Aetherborn and Serrated Scorpion, I think. We could Grimdancer because it has Menace. But I kind of want to get a Gifted Aetherborn on the field. Ooh, what is this? Enchanted creature gets +0/+2 and assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Enchanted creature has 3 mana, untap this creature. Okay. Right, so it looks like they want to pile on to their Lurking Roper. Since we didn't draw our other land, I'm just going to play a Grimdancer and select Menace Death Touch. And we're going to have no attacks this turn. Our opponent hasn't gained too much life yet, so we're doing okay. That's really my big concern. The Lurking Roper is annoying, but I mean, if they swing with it, it's going to die to our Grimdancer. Okay, we'll see. We'll see if it'll die. Our opponent probably has some kind of spell. Oh, our opponent had nothing. Okay. Quick game 2. All right. All right, we got thrown into a new match almost instantly. Our hand is not looking the best, actually. We're looking a little low on resources. No, now I feel better. Now that we drew the Grim Wanderer, I'm feeling all right. We do have, the ideal play of turn 1, Knight of the Ebon Legion, into turn 2, Wanted Scoundrels. And we even have a Lash of Malice to help Wanted Scoundrels connect next turn. In fact, if our opponent plays a creature, which they don't, with power 2 or less, we would have been in a great spot. We would have been able to remove it with a Lash of Malice and then develop a Grim Wanderer too. So from here, since our opponent hasn't played anything, I am just going to activate Knight, and we're going to see if they have an answer for one of our creatures. And they don't. We connect for 8. It is turn 3, and our opponent's down to 11. But again, we didn't develop any more creatures on our board because of the fact that we activated our Knight of the Ebon Legion. Not the worst thing ever, but next turn, again, at most, we would be able to swing for 9 damage. Oh, actually, plus the Lash of Malice, if they didn't have this creature on the field, we could swing for lethal. In fact, if we draw a Feed the Swarm, Heartless Act, yeah, well, just those two. If we draw either of those two, we can win the game. Right? There's no way I can get lethal from here, right? I can play a Swamp. I'm going to declare both of them as attackers. I'm going to activate Knight of the Ebon Legion. And I'm going to try to bait out our opponent not blocking. They don't block. They count 9 damage. This is what I'm talking about. No one expects the Lash of Malice. Good game. That's it. That's game. Turn 4 win. And turn 4 is the fastest I've ever won with this deck. So that's it. That is the quickest you can hope to end a match, really. I don't think it's possible to end it on turn 3. That was good. I'm glad you guys got to see that. Okay, so here we are in another match. Opening hand, not the best I've ever seen, but it'll have to do, I guess. Ideally, I like to pair Grim Wanderer with a removal spell, but that's a play that wouldn't happen until turn 4. So I'm actually going to swing here. I'm going to see if they want to block. They probably don't. Yeah. So we'll just end the turn. They play another Land of War Elves. It's going to come back to us. Playing Prosperous Innkeeper. Which is, they sequenced that wrong. They should have done the Prosperous Innkeeper first, right? Yeah. Okay. Question is, from here, do I just Knight with the Ebon Legion? Yeah. I'm just going to activate Knight, swing. They probably don't block and just take the 4. They go down to 15. They have a lot of mana available to them now. They have 6 mana. They play an Elvish Archdruid. They gain some life. We go down to 15. And we're still feeling really good here, actually. From here, I can Heartless Act the Elvish Archdruid, and that's going to allow us to play our Grim Wanderer. And that is a big boy. So we're going to connect for another 2. Opponent plays an Allosaurus Shepherd. He's really strong for 6 mana, which our opponent does have. Each elf creature you control has base power and toughness 5/5, becomes a dinosaur in addition to its other creature types. So that's pretty scary. From here, we're going to activate Knight of the Ebon Legion. And we're going to drop a Gifted Aetherborn. Yeah, that'll be a really good blocker to have for after we swing out. Does our opponent block is the question. Ooh, okay, they activate it, and so they are going to block our Grim Wanderer, it looks like. I'm okay with this. Ooh, are they? Are they questioning it? Oh, okay. They double block our Knight of the Ebon Legion. Okay. I'm still fine with that. They play Rice, the Redeemed. For 3 mana, they can tap it, create a 1/1 Elf Warrior creature token. For 6, they can tap it, each creature token control, create a token that's a copy of that creature. Ooh. Oh, that's really good. Oh, it's a rare. I was thinking that would be really good for another deck I have. Because there are no populate cards in Arena right now. No cards say populate, except for a board wipe card that is called depopulate. But this ability, this says for each creature token. That's game. It doesn't say for each elf creature token. So that's pretty nice. Alright, that's another game though. Beat the elves. First dinosaurs, and now elves. Just feeling good. Okay, so this is an interesting opening hand. Our opponent has a Lurrus, which is a little bit scary. Lurrus decks are pretty strong. Oh, a Lurrus deck with blue? I was not expecting that. Okay, turn 1, we'll just Serrated Scorpion. Turn 2, we might Gifted Aetherborn, but I have a feeling we're going to have something that we want to Lash of Malice. Oh my god, they're playing a treasure hunt deck? You're a monster. Dude, I don't even remember the full combo. It has something to do with creating a bunch of, like, 2/2 zombie tokens, right? Get to, like, discard as many lands as they want from their hand. And, like, for each one they discard, they get a tapped 2/2 zombies. It's something like that. I think the other card is Army of the Damned. They play another treasure hunt. Dude, this is insane. I'm going to try to rush our opponent down as fast as I can, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Even next turn, if next turn we pump Knight of the Ebon Legion and use a Lash of Malice, that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, 14 damage. It's exactly lethal. But have they still not drawn the card that they're looking for? I'm telling you, this is supposed to be like a combo that is supposed to lead like right into, again, I think Army of the Damned. And they're just not. Oh, Zombie Infestation. That's it. Okay, that's the card. Discard 2 cards, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Oh my god. Wow. This was super terrifying. We got so lucky that they didn't draw one of those sooner. So we're going to activate Knight of the Ebon Legion. We're going to use a Lash of Malice. We'll go ahead and put on the Gifted Aetherborn. And we're going to swing out. And that is game. We super lucked out on that. But luckily, our deck was fast enough, aggressive enough, that we could put out the damage to kill them. Because they were going to make a ton of 2/2 blockers next turn. And I don't even think they come in tapped. No, they don't even come in tapped. That's crazy. Alright. That was good and scary. Right, so I've just finished recording gameplay for the video. As you can see, our win rate is still at 63%. We were just at 64, but I got greedy and played another game and we lost. But yeah, 64% win rate on the play, 63% on the draw, 79 wins, 46 losses, and total playtime of 9 hours, 44 minutes, and 45 seconds. As you can see, I've played this deck a lot, and I haven't gotten bored of it. I haven't gotten tired of it yet. Like, I would recommend that someone craft this deck if they want something new and cheap to play with. Like, it's fun. I enjoy it. Okay, well, that's going to about wrap it up. I'll have the deck list down in the description for you guys, and if you do happen to make this deck, please let me know how it goes for you. I hope you enjoyed the video. I would love to hear any criticisms that you have about the video. It is my first real one, so I'm definitely open to any improvements that I can make. I just want my content to be enjoyable, you know? If you did enjoy the video, please consider joining us on Twitch, where I live stream new budget decks that I'm currently working on. My main goal, on top of making good budget decks and growing my channel here, is to build a community. And I think Twitch is a really easy way for me to do that. It makes it easier for me to interact with more people. You know, we can talk deck building. You know, maybe you guys can help me with a build that I'm struggling with. Or, you know, maybe you even have a deck idea that you really want to try out, but, you know, you don't want to spend your wild cards on it just yet because you feel unsure about it. Like, let me try it out for you. I'd be more than happy to do that. That's what I'm here to do. I stream most nights at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time, but I do not have an official schedule posted on Twitch just yet. All right, well, I don't think I'm forgetting anything, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.